Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, and I am joined for the first time in studio by my partner, Campbell McLaughlin. Campbell, how are you?
I am doing just fine right here, live in the studio in scenic and beautiful Alexandria, Virginia.
Alexandria,
Virginia. How y'all doing?
So this is a good time. It is the eve of the Nova Open. It is Wednesday, the 30th of August. And we're here because Campbell came into town for the Nova Open, and we're here together to bring you the 16th episode of our wonderful, critically acclaimed podcast.
The top review is, it certainly is a podcast. These two hosts, talk into microphones for about an hour.
We do indeed. So this one might be a little bit shorter because we are trying to get the heck out of here to go to the Games Workshop preview event tonight, which we're both very excited about. So let's get into it, man. Let's hit the aspects and talk about what's on our hobby radar. Why don't you start?
All right. Well, yeah, I have not played any games, but I've been painting my ass off in preparation for the event. So over the last... I spent about 16 of about 30 hours just working on the Land Raider Crusader, which I've got all prepped and ready to go. It probably still smells like matte varnish.
That's good. That's a rather apropos tank for the Black Templars.
Dude, I just had to, and I magnetized the whole thing so I can do the Redeemer thing too if I want to, make a spicy boy out of it. And also, big surprise, I also paint up a Storm Raven.
Spicy boy.
Yeah, but I did a Storm Raven too.
Well, you have a Storm Raven?
Yeah.
Did you bring it?
Yeah.
Fucking righteous, dude.
Yeah, that's the linchpin of Operation Blow Up Dan's Stupid Tanks.
I didn't know you were going to have a Storm Raven.
Yeah, I had to drop a surprise in there somewhere, so I thought I'd drop it live on the air when you still have time to write a list to counter it.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't really need to counter anything you bring at me because you're pathetic at this game and I'm so much better.
Hey, I am caught up to the 5th edition meta now.
With your Black Templars.
With my Black Templars who finally have a Storm Raven. They have a Land Raider, they have one Rhino with 6 veterans inside it. Yeah. I'm going to roll you.
You know, they don't move towards things that shoot them anymore.
Well, yeah, now they just die. But I did those two things. I also had a Terminator squad that was like 80% done, and I just I only now got back to them because I wanted to get the Storm Raven done first. So those guys are there too because that's what my army needed, is more Terminators to fail their deep striking charges.
Yeah, that sounds like you've been working like a fiend to get stuff done, man.
Like a forge fiend.
That's great. I've gotten a few things done too, actually. I finished my Trojan because I care about making friends. Because
you are a Trojan man.
Oh, no.
Trojan Dan.
Trojan Dan, which is a great piece of equipment from Forge World, and we know how good those rules are. I have when we talk about games we've played, I have some Forge World comments to make. So I did my Trojan. I made it, I think, a little bit cooler than normal. Instead of just doing the crane on the back, regular metallic color, I did it bright yellow. Like a Tonka truck, because it's kind of a construction vehicle. Or
Constructicon, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy with it. I also did a couple of sponsons for my Vanquisher, Leman Russ Vanquisher, that I'm not sure I'll ever use again. Maybe I might use it in the Apocalypse game, this Nova, just because it can reach across the table with its gun.
You gotta fill points somehow.
Well, that's the thing. It's like 300 points almost.
Jesus.
With you, and I painted up some Multi-Melta sponsons for it.
Wait, that tank is almost 300 points?
It's, I think, the Vanquisher with a hull-mounted las cannon and 2 sponson-mounted Multi-Meltas. And this is not a tank commander. This is a regular thing. I think it's 276 points.
Yeah, that's like 30 points less than a Storm Raven with missile launchers and multi-meltas loaded for bear. That's a joke.
Right.
It's a bad joke.
It's all of the Leman Russes are currently bad jokes, and maybe once Guard gets Codex, maybe they'll come down in cost, because currently they don't do fucking shit. But that's okay. My linchpin of my army is not Leman Russes, not this time. But I also did a bunch of touch-ups on my Steel Legion guys, because they're all metal and they chip. So I painted over all the chips I could find, and that took a long time and was very, very boring. But I did it, and I'm done, and I will have to do it again after Nova because they're fucking metal models.
Well, this year at Nova, they've got fat mats on every board as far as I'm aware, so when they fall over, they won't get chipped as often.
Well, the thing is, it's not when they fall over. It's when I grab a handful of them to remove them from the table as they're dying to, termagants or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't die in less than handfuls.
No. So it sounds like we both did a good amount of painting.
Yeah. Oh,
I
I named my Land Raider.
Did you?
So I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I'm like, hey, so what should I name this? Because I want to do a name that has these big scrolls, and you got this tank for me. So we'll have some input in the name. She goes, how about Fuckboy Crusher? So I run that through Google Translate to get the fake Latin for it, and I just can't make it work because there's no word in Latin for fuckboy, believe it or not. It ends up like when you do the translate over and then translate back, it's like masticate child. And I'm like, no, it's not a child chewer. So
the child chewer.
Oh, the child chewer is probably a Game of Thrones character I'm just not aware of.
God.
But so I named it through, I think it's pronounced Puer Malice, which is essentially bad boy. It is the bad boy.
Nice. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's that fits with our theme of our show and what we're going to talk about in a little bit, which I'm going to tease for you guys right now.
Tease me, please me.
So I played a couple of games. I played a game against a listener.
Oh.
This fellow Tim. I didn't get his last name. I think it starts with a P because his Gmail account is Tim P. Well, Tim, you know your last name. It was a great game. He had Exorcists.
Oh.
Not the Sisters of Battle, but
the Space Marines.
The Space Marine chapter, okay. Exorcists. Very nicely painted. He had all Primaris and Dreadnought Force. And he had 2 of the Forge World Dreadnoughts.
Leviathans?
Leviathan and a Dorito.
Oh, I love the Dorito.
The Dorito. So I discovered that both of those things are mean as fuck.
Yes, they are.
So we played a game over at Games and Stuff in Glen Burnie, which is a great shop that I've never been to before, but they got a ton of tables. It's really nice. It's like an hour drive from me, though, so I don't think I'm going to go all that much, but it was really cool area. And we played a Maelstrom game with the cards, and it didn't go well for me.
Aww.
So, and the reason was it didn't go well for me is because of the cards, not because of the game itself. Those Dreadnoughts are nasty.
I believe it.
The Dorito hits on 2s, and it's got like 2 giant las cannons and just fucks shit up from across the board. And then the Leviathan also hits on 2s. They've both got 1 billion wounds and are tough as shit. I did kill the Leviathan with lots and lots of basilisks and manticore shooting. He also had a Redemptor, killed that thing. It got to the point, turn one, drew 6 cards, and there was no way I was going to get 5 of them.
Oh, that sucks. Like, were they just like objectives on their side of the table, or were they like shoot down a flyer when he doesn't have flyers?
Right. It was all stuff that it was objectives on the other side of the table mostly that I was just never going to get. And I was like, fuck. And he got like 4 right off the bat that he scored immediately. And so at the end of turn 2, it was 11-2 him.
Fuck.
Yeah. And I was just like, well, enjoy your win. But we played it out, and I got close to tabling him.
Oh, okay.
Because Primaris Marines and a bunch of Dreadnoughts is not a large model count army.
No.
So it got to the point, though, where the only way I was going to win is if I tabled him. The final score, I think, was like 13-6. So it wasn't like as lopsided as it was on turn 2, but it was still pretty lopsided.
How much did he still have on the table by the end
of it?
He
had, I think he had his Dorito and like 10 Primaris Marines.
Okay.
Like I'd take it. He had a bunch of characters and stuff, and oh man, I took out his Gravis Captain with like regular plasma gun shooting from a guardsman with a plasma gun, no, not overcharged or anything, and like a bunch of las guns.
Oh, that's insulting and lovely.
Yeah, I think it was. I remember exactly what happened. So he like rolled up, got too close, and I took him down to like 2 wounds, and then my company commander charged him. My 3 attack company, he had a power sword.
Oh, okay.
3 attacks, strength 3, but minus 3 AP.
Yeah.
However, the company commander had a relic that gave him like 3 up invulnerable. He had 1 wound left at this point. I hit with like 2 attacks, wounded with 1, and he failed to save. Didn't have any command points left, and I was like, fuck yes!
No.
My company commander killed an Exorcist Gravis Captain in hand-to-hand combat.
That's when you find a name for the guy. Like, you gotta name that captain now.
Yeah, I'll think of something. But it was a really good game. Really, really strong game. Tim's a great guy. He had a really cool shirt. Don't remember exactly. I had a lot of bright colors. That's why I liked it. And I would love to play him again. So Tim, thanks a lot for the game, man. Hit me up when you got some time, and he's coming to Nova.
Oh, cool.
He'll be there. He's playing in the narrative.
I'll look for a guy in a bright shirt.
I don't know if he's going to wear the same shirt. I'll point him out to you. I remember what he looks like.
I hope he owns more than one shirt.
Well,
by day 5, it's gonna be kind of gamey.
It's a fucking Warhammer convention, so I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you. I also played a game against my friend Rhett. He had Grey Knights, and the game went pretty similar in that we played a Nova mission.
Oh,
and the points were kind of close down the line. We called it after a while because it was taking a long time. He had Grey Knights, and let me tell you something about Nemesis Dread Knights with Grandmasters in them. They're impossible to fucking kill.
So they're 2 up, right?
2 up saves, and then they have the Sanctuary power, which they can take, which gives their invulnerable saves +1. So they're a 2 up, 3 up, like toughness 7 or 6 or 7, like 12 wounds, and they're just beat sticks.
And they can teleport around, right?
They teleport around. They can shoot a bajillion shots with their heavy silencer that hits on 2s, and their heavy side cannon that hits on 2s, and just they wreck shit. He had 2 of those. He was talking about taking 3, but he was like, maybe I don't want to do that. And I was thankful that he didn't. Grey Knights are an extremely effective shooting army.
They kind of have been since 5th.
With all of the Stormbolters that they can bring out, the silencers and the side cannons and all that stuff. It was a good game. Rhett's a nice guy. I got beat pretty bad, but you know, I'm used to it.
It's part of the deal. I'll never get over how dumb the pun of silencer is, though. T.S. silencer. Yeah. Great, cool, fine.
That's a good fucking gun, though, dude.
I don't.
D3 wounds.
Okay, that's
it's
actually
a force weapon.
Because, yeah, they used to be pretty trash. You used to be like 3 bolters stuck together.
There were 3 bolters stuck together that were force weapons.
Oh, okay.
So it was potentially very dangerous.
Yeah, if you shot like a character.
But now when you throw them on a guy that hits on 2s and they have like 12 shots...
Then they get scary.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Not so effective against the Leman Russ just because it's toughness 8 and they're still winning on 6s, but whatever. So yeah, I had a couple of good games. A lot of painting. This whole Nova thing... Should we segue? Should we segue right into Nova?
Yeah, let's do it. That's a natural segue. Let's totally spoil it by highlighting it. Smooth as sandpaper.
There it is. So Nova starts tomorrow.
Well tonight.
Kind of tonight in a couple hours. And we are both pretty pumped, I'd say, about it. Turgid is a word we use quite often on the show, and I think is acceptable way to describe how we're feeling right now about it. I have always considered Nova to be is one of the things I look forward to most through the year. Well, the narrative campaign, multi-day campaign with rivalries, with fucking bullshit, planning sessions that are really just drinking sessions.
Finger quotes here, planning.
Right, yeah. It's a really, really cool event, and I'm so excited for it. We're staying in the hotel again so we can party instead of the first 2 years I went to Nova. I didn't stay at the hotel. It's like a 20-minute drive.
You live close enough.
Yeah. So the problem was like everybody after games and stuff would be drinking and partying, and I was like, oh man, I got to drive home.
Yeah, I'm the designated driver for all my tiny spacemen.
Right, which was, and also I ended up like that whole weekend, like the whole driving home stuff was a pain in the ass because there was times when in the middle of the day there weren't like a whole lot of games, and I was like, I guess I got to go feed my fucking pets or whatever.
Yeah.
And it would just be like 20 minutes. I'd sit there for like 5 minutes on my own being like, this is stupid. I want to go back and hang with my friends.
Yeah. No, it's you want to be there. You want to be in the center of it all.
Right.
So for those who haven't been listening since the very beginning, I can't blame you. But we met at Nova. Like our first time actually hanging out together was at Nova last year.
Last year, yeah.
And we conceptualized the Badcast, as you sort of know it, with the Sniffen brothers at some, outside some cafe outside the hotel.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's not a plaque there yet, but give it time.
Yeah, we were talking in the car on the way over. That we should have waited and tried to organize so the Sniffen brothers could be here for this recording, so they could be in on the anniversary of at least the planning of the 40k Badcast. I guess very important, very important anniversary.
It's I got nothing. I'm trying to figure out some prenatal thing, but I'm not having any luck.
Ooh, yeah.
It's the anniversary of the conception.
Ooh.
of the 40k
The
Badcast.
fertilization?
The zygote of the 40k Badcast was formed today, 1 year ago.
Nice. So it's coming up, Nova Open, narrative event's happening. We talked last episode with Joe Capana, who runs the narrative event, and he got me super excited for it. I was reading through the packet, the primer for it, because I haven't finished all my lists. I finished most of them, but I still got a couple to make, which I might enlist your help with later.
And you want my help writing a list? You want Campbell 0 for 5 McLaughlin to help write your list?
Maybe not. But it's coming up, man. This is the most wonderful time of the year. It's going to be so much fun, and I can't fucking wait.
Yeah. So for those who aren't following the narrative, fuck. All right. For those who don't really know too well, the narrative is a multi-day event with a lot of games. Like, you can be in either the night fighters who only play one game a night, or you can be in the warlords who play all the day games and the night games, or you can be in the combat patrol games, which are cool too and kind of a la carte. So you're playing with the same people over the course of the entire convention. You're going to hang out with them. You're getting to socialize with them. You're getting to actually know people, because that was my big complaint after AdeptCon. Was I had a lot of fun in most of the games I played, but I didn't really get to build that multi-day rapport. Like,
you had a bunch of friends that you met there.
Yeah.
And when you left, it was like you just hung out with the same group of guys the whole time.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You didn't like meet anybody new or hang out or forge the narrative or anything.
Not even the guy from Forge the Narrative?
Not even the guy from Forge the Narrative, no.
Well, we hung with Klaus.
Oh, we did make friends with Klaus.
Yeah.
I hope Klaus comes to Adepticon next year.
I hope so too.
Hope he doesn't get lost on the streets of Schaumburg like he did this time.
There's few worse places to get lost.
Klaus, I'm praying for you, buddy.
Find your way home, Klaus.
Thoughts and prayers.
Come home, Klaus.
Thoughts and prayers to Klaus. So what are you bringing for the narrative this time?
All right, so I'm bringing my Black Templars,
Yep.
which I'm thrilled about because my first time not bringing an army that's predominantly metal or resin, so it's not like 30 pounds on my back or more. So that's cool. I'm not going to go into the specifics too much because that's not that interesting, but we've got lists for 1,000, 1,500, 2,500, and a 3,000 point list.
And 2,000.
What?
And 2,000.
All right, I got to build 2,000 point list. Basically, in every list I can, I try to fit in the Crusader and the Storm Raven because I want to play with my new toys. And in the bigger games, like 2,500
Did you manage to fit the Crusader and the Storm Raven in the 1,000 point list?
No, just the Crusader and 1,000 points.
Okay.
But both in the 1,500.
Okay. So I'm going to use your line from last night when we were texting. You're the worst kind of person.
Yeah, I know.
That's great, man.
I want to put all my eggs in one big basket and then put the rest of my eggs in another slightly bigger basket.
Well, that's interesting because my breakfast, if we're going to use this metaphor and we're going to stretch it pretty far, is sort of like the Irish breakfast of armies, or my army is like the Irish breakfast of armies because it's got eggs and bacon and sausage and weird coagulated blood discs and beans and bread because I've managed to fit a brigade detachment at 1,000 points. And it came out to 999 points. So I will have 12 fucking command points at 1,000 points game.
Hence, Dan, you are the worst kind of person.
I'm ready for it. I was talking to my friend Scott, and he was like, "You're going to lose all your games," and I'm like, "Yeah, probably. That's how it goes, anyways." Because it's 60 guys.
Yeah,
with a couple of artillery tanks and some sentinels. Yeah, like all right, we'll see. But it'll be fun. It'll be hard for, I think, at 1,000 points, especially if I'm playing power armor or something. It'll be hard for them to deal with the amount of models that I have.
That's the core of your army, though, is those 60 dudes and 3 sentinels or something like that.
Yeah, so it's 60 guys, 3 Primaris Psychers for my HQ. Yeah, he's rolling his eyes, listeners. A couple of Commissars, an Astropath, couple of Basilisks, Manticore. Yeah, it's
company commander. You don't have to earned honor killing that Gravis guy.
The company commander shows up in the 1,500.
Okay, well, when Lieutenant Greg takes the field, let me know.
I've also planned it. So last couple of times at Nova, there have been, I would say, a little too many super heavies.
You don't say.
Yeah. So what I've done is I'm going to have 2 lists, except for 1,000, because I did not manage to get the Shadow Sword in at 1,000. Or I'm just not going to do it.
Shadow Sword, the friend maker.
Yeah, right. So I have alternate lists where I'm going to bring the Shadow Sword if they have a Titanic unit in their army. Just because I think the game is always more fun if you have like, oh, I've got my Titanic unit. Oh, well, check it out. I've got mine.
Well, yeah, no, Mech Warrior is a lot more fun when both people are or Battletech's more fun when both people are playing mechs.
Right. So I know I'm definitely going to be using it in the Apocalypse game.
Yeah.
I might even bring the Baneblade out for that too. But the Baneblade is garbage.
It is trash.
It's really bad.
So it's funny that the Baneblade, like all its weapons are heavy, so it gets -1 to hit. When a Land Raider doesn't have that problem.
No, Lehman Russes don't have that problem for their turret weapons, but Baneblades and Baneblade chassis tanks, if they move, they hit on 5s.
Great. Well,
And there's only a couple things you can do about that. You can, well, my Trojan's done. So if the Shadow Sword's in the game, the Trojan's going to be parked directly behind it and allowing it to reroll.
Gross.
Which I'm very excited about. You know, the thing is though, like that is gross and cheesy or whatever, but that's going to be one of the least cheesy things that we're going to see this weekend.
Well, fortunately, we're in the narrative, so we're avoiding most of the cheesy shit. Like, I feel bad. I brought my Knight Crusader, keeping it thematic, but I always feel bad fielding that thing, which is why I've only fielded it, I think, once during the Philly Apocalypse game last year.
Yeah, it did work.
Yeah, it did fine. It's stomped a bunch of fucking Demon Princes. That was great.
That's right. You were rolling 6s on your stomps.
I stomped 2 Demon Princes in a row when they had like rerollable invuln saves, like 2-up shit. So
and you don't get saves against 6s on stop. Fuck yeah, dude.
Well, yeah, not anymore.
Well, I mean, it's gone now, thankfully, but
at the time, it was
I do
great.
remember that. That was tight.
Yeah, that was a highlight of the weekend. But yeah, so I haven't really used that much. But like last year, the lists were generally pretty cool. Some were silly gimmicks, like the list with like 37 land speeders in it.
Yeah, John, who I know he's going to be sore about not winning Infamous last year, which I did win. And we've got a Something Awful Goon who I don't think I've met before. Oh God, no, has called me out on the forums. And he's going to attempt to win Infamous this time around too, which good fucking luck, buddy.
You'll have 2 guys gunning for your genocide record.
Yeah, honestly, if he's not shooting at my cardsman, oh, fuck yeah. Well, so I'm going to hopefully be the most genocidal of all the people.
Well, somehow last year I got Best General for Humanity.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I got Hero of the Free. I don't even know how I did that.
I think it might be because you're so personable and friendly.
Yeah, clearly. I did win all my games though. Like I somehow did win all my games last year.
You did, yeah.
So I upset my own record there. It's all downhill from here.
Not against me.
No, not against you. No, that's the thing. Every game I played that wasn't part of the narrative, I got fucking stomped. Craig killed me with his Necrons, which I couldn't touch. Yeah. Your fucking Wyverns blew up all my toys, which I couldn't touch. So this year, there's nowhere to go but down, everybody.
Right. It's going to be a great event. We will probably do a NovaCast after the show, maybe even next week, if schedules allow, and clue all of you guys in on it. So let's move on.
All right.
And we have a big announcement to make. A huge announcement where we were inspired by the recent Conor campaign, global campaign that Games Workshop's running, to create our own global campaign. The first ever 40k Badcast global campaign.
This is going to be the biggest, thickest campaign you've ever seen.
That's thick spelled THICC. Yeah, because it's thick.
It's the good kind.
Yeah, the good kind of thick. What we're going to do is it's going to pit the Badcast Bad Boys and the 40k Fuck Boys against one another to see which faction, temporarily at least, controls the 40k Badcast. So we're going to have missions for the next 5 episodes. We're gonna have missions that you are going to take part in. You're going to play, and you're going to email us the results of your missions. And just like you would with the whole Conor campaign, except you're not handing it into a store person. You're emailing us with the points values that you scored. And we're going to be putting up the mission descriptions at 40kbadcast.com, where you can go to the each episode has its own webpage, and you can check it out there. And you play them, and you report back to us. You pick a faction. You can be a 40k fuckboy, which, I mean, who wouldn't want to be a 40k fuckboy? Or you can be a Badcast bad boy, but those guys are a bunch of scrubs.
If you have taste.
Fucking shitty taste. Bad taste,
if you own more than one shirt.
and then you do the mission. And so they're going to be somewhat asymmetrical missions, and you're going to find out. You're going to find out because we're going to talk about the first one right now. So what's going to happen is we're going to tell you the mission. You go get with your group of friends, and if you do have friends. Not everybody does.
I'd like to think most of the bad boys have friends. They have a friend in me anyway.
I'm worried about the fuckboys in that respect. You go and you play your game, report back to us, pick your thing. You don't have to if you've got a couple of friends, let's say you really want to do this side of the mission or the fuckboy side of the mission this time, but you really want to do the bad boy side of the mission next time. Who fucking cares? Yeah. Just give us email us, contact@40kbadcast.com. We're going to go over this again at the end of the show. Contact@40kbadcast.com. Email us the results, and we will keep you guys updated on who is winning the 40k Badcast global campaign. So Campbell, you have designed the first mission.
Yes, I have.
And I would really enjoy if you would tell us what the fuck happens in it.
So, round 1 is known as Campbell's Anime Stash. One player is designated the fuckboy, and one is designated the bad boy. Deployment is typical random deployment from the rulebook. So either hammer and anvil, table quarters, halves, whatever.
What the fuck ever, roll for it. It doesn't matter.
So there are 6 objectives on the field, which have to be more than 12 inches from each other and 6 inches from a board edge.
Standard objective shit.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you land on an objective, you roll a die. On a 6, you found some anime. And if you're a Tau Battlesuit unit, you get to re-roll that die. You weeby mecha bullshit.
Oh, no.
So on any other roll, the marker is discarded. And if
it was a decoy stash.
Yeah, it was a decoy stash.
It was all old porno mags.
It was just regular garbage. Just a bunch of empty Pocky boxes and discarded copies of I don't know what anime people like anymore. So anyway.
Yeah, you do. You're one of them.
I don't know what they like anymore.
All right, please continue.
All right. So now once when let's say you've gone through 5 of the thingies and there's only one left, that one will always be the stash. There will always be a minimum of 1 stash. However, there can be multiple stashes on the table depending how you roll, and you can use a command point to re-roll that if you really want to hold the stash or what have you. So, the bad boy player can hold the objective much in the same way as you hold the relic. And at the end of the game, you have hoarded your anime and you get 3 victory points. Now the fuckboy player can immediately burn the anime for 1 victory point. So it is a bit of a fast dime, slow dollar, but I don't think the fuckboys ever think too much about the future.
No, we don't. We see anime and we destroy it.
So the mission also uses the First Blood, Slay the Warlord, and Line Breaker secondary objectives. So even if the anime gets stranded in the open or is unclaimed anime, you can still get a victory out of it at the end.
So please tell us at contact@40kbadcast.com the results of your games in the 40k Badcast global campaign. We're really excited to hear from you guys. Maybe we should play.
Yeah,
at Nova, we should get a game in with this as our stipulation.
We should play our inaugural mission here.
Yeah,
and that way, if none of you write in, we still have results.
It's a very real problem. They might not write in. So we've already figured out what our next mission is going to be. We're not going to talk about it right now because this next one's a little bit of a doozy. But I can promise you it'll be a lot of fun too. So please participate in the campaign, have fun, and let us know. Also, pictures.
Yeah.
Send us pictures.
I love to see pictures. And as for these missions, let's say you listen to the 40k Badcast and you have some friend who's, let's be honest, he's kind of slow and he doesn't listen to it. You can just be like, hey, I've got a cool mission, let's play it, and send us the results. If you were on the bad boy team and you won, you can just say, hey, we one more for the bad boys, and if he wins, one more for the fuck boys or whatever.
Right. So we will post this on the in the show notes on the site, so you don't have to listen to the fucking podcast to get to the rules again. So please have fun, enjoy it, let us know. We're gonna be wrapping up the show soon because we want to get the fuck out of here and go nerd out with our friends at Nova Open. So Campbell, I think it's time for Fact or Fan Fiction.
Here we go. Hi, my name is Ekbeni Draknias Dementia, Raven Stormlord, and I have a long ebony black Gauss power cord, that's how I got my name, with purple streaks and red tips that reaches my Gauss blaster, and icy blue eyes that look like limpid tears, and a lot of people tell me I look like Taladir. Author's note, if you don't know who she is, get the hell out of here. I'm not related to Emotech the Stormlord, but I wish I was, because he's a major fucking hottie. I'm a Necron, but my necrodermis feels almost alive. I have a pale white metal flesh. I'm also an immortal, and I fight for an overlord called Anrakir, where I'm a Purian Eternal. I'm 60,170,000. I'm a goth, in case you couldn't tell, and wear mostly black. I love Heat Topek, and buy all my adornments from there. For example, today I was wearing a black shoulder guard with matching lace around it and black leather thigh augments, pink Ana or shin guards, and black combat foot casings. I was wearing a black lower mandible casing, white face covering, black eyeliner, and red optic filters. I was walking outside the monolith. It was snowing and raining, so there was no sun, which I was very happy about.
Snowing and raining?
A lot of old Kron stared at me. I put up my middle finger at them. Hey, Ekbeni, shouted a voice. I looked up. It was Illuminar Caesaris. What's up, Caesaris? I asked. Nothing, he said shyly. But then I heard my friend's call, and I had to go away. Author's note. Is it good? Please tell me. Hugs and gosses.
So I'm going to guess that this is your OkCupid profile that you just read.
I'm pretty sure my OkCupid profile just said in all caps, I have a cat and I'm approachable.
One of those things is true. That's fan fiction. That's garbage.
That's fan fiction of fan fiction.
What's it fan fiction of?
Have you ever heard of My Immortal?
No.
It's fucking trash, like Harry Potter goth, like hot topic mall goth fan fiction. I think later was found out to all be one elaborate joke, but someone, I think from 4chan, rewrote it as My Immortal from a Necron's perspective.
Oh, God, that's garbage.
Yeah, it's trash, right?
God, every fucking 2 weeks or so, you fill my brain with the worst fucking shit.
That's what friends are for.
I'll never forgive you for this. All right, guys, you can contact us through various means. We talked about it earlier. Contact at 40kbadcast.com. That's where you can send us pictures of your sweet models. I got a picture I'm going to post in this episode where I was playing Tim this week, and he's got the Primaris Sergeant who's pointing.
Yeah.
But in transport, the finger broke, but it stayed on and it broke down. So instead of pointing out, he was pointing down like he's shouting like, right here, motherfucker, right now.
You're going down in the ground.
We're going to do this right fucking here. And I thought that was really funny. So I'll post that. Send us pictures of your hilarious models, your bad models, your good models, whatever the fuck. Send us pictures of your games that you're playing in the 40k Badcast Global Campaign along with your results. We want to hear them. If there's anything hilarious that happens during the game itself, if we deem it to be hilarious enough, we'll talk about it on air.
Yeah.
Also, you can reach us on Twitter. I'm DZBeezy at DB_sleazy on Twitter, and you will get a whole lot of me tweeting about how Anthony Rendon should be the NL MVP, but he probably won't be. Campbell, where can they find you on Twitter?
They can find me at BrotherSRM, and I totally know exactly what you're talking about. Guy who's wearing a shirt that I thought was for Walgreens until I last met you.
Sports ball. I just love those Walgreens Nationals.
I'm more of a Hebrew Nationals kind of guy myself.
You also have... oh, God, that's good. I'm sorry to step on that joke. That was good. You also have a YouTube channel.
I do. YouTube.com/CamHammerShow. I put out a video pretty recently about my thoughts on 8th edition, in case you wanted to hear me apparently say them again. But it's got a lot of cool footage of...
Because you listen to the fucking podcast.
Right. I'm preaching to my own choir here, but there's a lot of cool footage of the games that we played at Peter's house. Sorry, Patrick, you're a different person I play with. Sorry, Peter, you're a different person I play with. A bunch of the games we played at the cabin party thing, those were really cool. So you can see his cool ass terrain and Gene Stealer Cult and all that stuff. And there's
even a couple shots of me in this video.
There are from above.
I was very excited to see that, and also horrified.
Yeah, you're famous now, Dan, on the internet for all famous. Like 200 of my subscribers.
That's the best kind of famous.
But I was gonna put out a video this week, but because I was prepping for Nova and getting shit painted, I just have not gone around to it. But after I get home, I've got a few I'll be working on.
Is there anywhere else we can find you on the internet, Campbell?
Yeah, cam2d.tumblr.com, cam2d.tumblr.com. That's where I post pictures of my models because I haven't gotten to take a chance to take pictures of my new shit this week. So if you want to see my Storm Raven and Land Raider, keep your eyes on there.
All right, I think it's time for the inspirational quote to send us off.
The inspirational quote is checks phone. That's not how you spell quote. Only in death does duty end.
You're terrible. This podcast is terrible.
Yeah.
But our listeners are even more terrible. I'm Dan Boyd. That's Campbell McLaughlin. This has been the 40k Badcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
I searched quote and I couldn't find the document.
Like I said, you're terrible.
At least I own it.
You own nothing.
I own punks like you.
Oh, shit. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.